Hello beautiful people, I'm DJ and welcome back to my channel DJ Cooks and Books. I will be reading 7 Sixes Are 43 by Kiran Nagarkar today, and today I will be replacing my screen time with reading. I've been sleeping terribly because I've been scrolling on my phone at night, and I have also not been very attentive when it comes to reading these days, so I have decided to just stop looking at my phone for one day. The screen time in question, you must be wondering how much is that screen time. So last 2 weeks I saw on my phone that my average daily screen time was around 8 hours and 20 minutes, and that's crazy. So I'll be reading for 8 hours and 20 minutes today, and my time starts now. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a book that was originally written in Marathi, which is my mother tongue, and then it is translated into English. It was written in 1974. The first slap on your bottom as you come into the world tells you that your days of mollycoddling are over. The sooner you understand that, the better you are prepared for the pain and the happiness. Kiran Nagarkar has the touch of a genius, apparently, according to one of the blurbs. And I am really looking forward to reading this. Let's start, guys. Cheers. Hello, so it has been about 35 minutes. I have read the first chapter, about 15 pages of this book, and it's crazier than I thought. There are so many trigger warnings. Like, if you want to read this book, you should check out the trigger warnings. Don't be like me. I did not check the trigger warnings properly. But there is domestic violence, there is fat phobia, there is arson, there is crazy stuff happening since the beginning, and I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying how the narrator is kind of crazy. The narrator is like jump straight into the scene of like somebody dying, and it's like terrifying. But there are so many characters in this narrator's mind that they just like all like confuse me so much. The narrator is just like talking about random characters in his life, or his neighbors, or people that he knows. Let's see where this book goes next. I've come at a friend's home. It's so wonderful here. I'll show you. So I have read about 93 pages, 3 chapters of this book, and let me tell you how chaotic this is. Kushank, our main character, his mind is just going and going and going. I can't understand half of what's going on, but this guy, oh my god, there is so much death in this book. So far in 93 pages, so many people have died, and so many people have been beaten up by their loved ones, their fathers, their husbands. The patriarchy is on full display, and the casteism, or like kind of traditional conservative values and enforcing of them in a kind of headstrong way. It's all so much, and we are plunged into all this chaos without any warning. Might be a style of this author, how we are supposed to follow this story, but I'm going to read it anyway. I'm not losing hope. I'm listening to it on audio at the same time I read it. That's helping me kind of not lose track of things. I went to a friend's place which is little out of town and spent pretty much the whole day hanging out with friends. At least it's not on my phone. I did go on my phone a little bit, but I have avoided being on my phone, on Instagram, on YouTube as much as I always do. So I guess the experiment is working, kind of. I'll give you an update later when I am little more further along in the book. Okay, so I have read for about 4 hours and 20 minutes today instead of the 8 hours 20 minutes I set out to read. But I have finally finished this book, and it's like maybe 10:35, 10:40 p.m. And let me tell you about this book. First of all, I need to give credit to the translator Shubhas Lee, who translated this book from Marathi to English. I don't know if there is something lost in translation, or the translator needs to be given like a huge reward or like kudos, because this is such a mess. Like, I wouldn't survive translating this stuff. Like, I probably should read. I don't know if I should, or maybe I should at least try reading it in Marathi, because it's my mother tongue. But it's like such repetitive content in this book. And there were two women, Prachinti and Aroti, I guess, who were Kushang's lovers. And then there are random friends. There is Raghu, there is Rakesh, and they just pop out of nowhere and take him on these weird adventures. Like, one is in a village where they are digging up wells where there is a famine, and it's like so bizarre. There is no coherence to anything. So there are these women who fall in love with him for some reason. He seems like the least likely person for whom people will fall for. And it's just like, there is nothing about him writing either, like, except for one instance where one character, one of his lovers, is saying that you will use me, you will write about me, and blah blah blah. But like, there is nothing else about him being an author, which is also strange. Why would you make the character an author if there is nothing about it in the book? Then, so 5 times this thing happens where somebody is like, please marry me. Somebody says yes, somebody says no. Sometimes he asks the girl to marry, sometimes the girl asks him to marry. Sometimes he says no, sometimes they say no. The girls' families are always saying no, and there is such bizarre stuff. And then in the last kind of chapter, there is some mysterious family, and he's like, I think it's aunt's family, and it's just so bizarre. It's like shit show, like dumpster fire. I don't even want to explain what happens, because there is like no sense that it did not make. And I'm like, towards the end of it, I was wondering whether it was like a huge mistake that I picked up this book. There is like a postscript section after the book is finished, like a little bit of it, and I skimmed it. I honestly could not go on after I read the book. It was a torture towards the end. I was holding on to hope for a long time, but then I found myself in the pit of despair, because this book is not it, guys. I did manage to convert at least half of my screen time to reading time, and I finished this book in one day, which I need to pat myself on the back for. But this book is not it. This book ain't it. So yeah, I give it 1 star. I'm sorry. I guess, yeah. But Lit with Indian Lit is a readathon in which we read translated literature from Indian languages to English, or something of that sort. And I wanted to read something which was translated from Marathi to English, and I chose this. Maybe the cover fooled me, maybe I made a mistake by not choosing a right book, but this is it. And yeah, it was a disappointing read, but overall I think I had a fun day. I hope you'll enjoy watching me having fun today. I'm going to maybe watch some Netflix or something now for an hour or something before I go to sleep. And I will see you in my next videos. Until then, take care and bye bye.